try to record this. Lisa's on top of it. Thank you so much, Lisa. So really, we just want to kind of get into it. I think the idea right now is we're just gonna show off 5 quick things you can do with Chat GPT, which app you can register for Chat GPT. If you're not registered, it's they do have a free service, so you can jump right into what that looks like. We're going to show you 5 simple things that you can do in after school. We're going to ask you some questions, and we're going to talk about definitely some no things, things you should not be doing in the no. So let's jump into Chat GPT. Oh, that's not what I wanted at all. Let's try this again. There we go. All right. Can everybody see that on my screen right now? On their screen? Maybe a thumbs up or
Yes.
someone. Yeah, okay, great. Thank you so much. All right, let's start with the first thing. I think the first thing, let's see, what did we want to do? Let's do create a Kahoot quiz, because we all love that, right? Kids love it, for second graders. That's all I'm typing in, right? And this is what's going to happen. Now, it's given me this really interesting, funny thing at the very beginning. And I'll talk about what that paragraph means. Essentially, in my personal profile, I took my description from the SDAN website, like my bio, and typed it in there. So it tries to create information using just a little bit of tidbit about what this looks like. How many people, just by raising your hand or telling us, use Kahoot with your kids, right? My kid wants to create a Kahoot. He's a 3rd grader right now, loves to create Kahoot quizzes, and we play them on the weekends. I don't know if that's me pushing my inner nerd on him, or if he just loves things like that. But this is going to just create some real simple things. And guess what? I typed it in, I walked away, I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to do all the things that I need to do so that the quiz is already done, right? Here it is. It was that fast, and I don't have to think about all the things that we just did. You can hit this, you can rewrite it, you can do some other things. This is just going to copy, so you can just copy and paste into something else. All right. That is the first one we're going to do. Okay, let's go back. Let's start a new chat. So we're going to do a new chat. And this time, what are we going to do? Ooh, we're going to get specific. Plan a field trip to Washington Pavilion in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Some of this stuff you're already going to know. But if you have a new staff member, or if you want someone to kind of take responsibility, having kids get involved in what this looks like can maybe make a great opportunity. So if you have 4th, 5th graders, elder 3rd graders, right? Like, get them involved in what this can look like. Let's talk about creating a schedule. Let's do this. I mean, this is very specific, talking about Leonardo's Cafe, which if you're in Sioux Falls, you know that this is going to, that is the little restaurant and snack place inside the Washington Pavilion, which happens to be a block away from me right now. It tells you necessary preparations, right? Permission slips, chaperones. What are you going to need? Is it going to give you absolute specifics? No, you have to add in some of these things. It does have some fun things in your downtime. You might even find some culinary inspiration at the cafe for a future cooking class, because I wrote that I used to teach cooking class at the Plums. So look, here we go. We're going to depart from the school. We're going to arrive at 8:30. We're going to have a guided tour of the Visual Arts Center, and then we're going to have a hands-on experience at the Kirby Science Discoveries Again. Then we're going to do some lunch. We're going to do some afternoon at the theater, a self-guided tour, wrap it up, and head back. And then it's going to talk about making sure you have permission slips and chaperones and all these different things, right? How fast and easy was that, right? That was number 2. Let's start a new chat. What's the third one we want to do? Oh, this one's fun. All right. We're gonna get even more specific. We're gonna write a story in 100 words about the evolution of music. Right. 100 words is not going to be a lot. I'm going to really point out a couple things. One, I think it's a great moment to look at the wording that is used. I'm not going to talk about, if I'm writing something, I'm not going to say the invention of string and wind instruments enriched the auditory tapestry. Like, you're never going to hear those words come out of my mouth. And if you do, you know that I didn't write that. Right. Right. That is certainly an easy way to spot when people are using chat GPT or using AI to write for them. Don't use this stuff to publish, right? This is just internal stuff that you can use. It's a great way to create ideas around certain things, but make sure that this comes through your voice. So we're going to rewrite this. And I'm going to rewrite it as Bart Simpson. You can change the persona of where your AI is coming from. Now, for us 80s and 90s kids, that brings back probably some certain memories. We can rewrite as maybe Mozart, right? Right? In the days of yore. Just some awesome ways to really change what this looks like. This is really a great activity to get your youth involved, especially, and try to get them to find what are unique ways. Who are some unique people that you could do that? All right, let's start another chat. We're going to do 5 of these. Here we go. Okay, we are going to, this one might be useful. Create a STEM supply list for a middle school after school program. Probably didn't sound right, but it's going to really blow up my ego at the beginning of it. So just kind of copy and paste and cut that stuff out. It's going to give you some basic supplies, right? Some general things. If you don't have a list, this is a great starting point, right? Then it's going to get into, some awesome things, electronics and coding. Let's talk about robotics. Let's talk about earth science. Let's talk about chemistry. What else do we need? This just takes a matter of seconds to figure out, like, hey, we're starting a program in a middle school. We haven't really got that far. We don't have a needs list. Where would we start? This is a great way to start, right? And simplify it. Start adding your things to it. Print this out and say, hey guys, what else would you like to see, right? Let's look at this list. What are some things that you might be interested in adding to it? Or what are stuff that you would never use in your STEM classroom, right? Easy, simple, awesome ways to do that. I'm going to do one more. Let's do one more. Let's write a 20-minute lesson on the water cycle, right? For 4th graders citing educational standards. All right. This is really where I would find the most use in a chat GPT option. It's going to lay all these out. It's going to give objectives, how long it's going to take, what materials you're going to need, which educational standards it's going to approach. It's going to lay out some scripts for you. For someone just getting into this, or maybe someone who has a lot of maybe a youth development professional who's kind of green to the situation. Maybe they're really enthusiastic, but they're just not well organized. This is a great opportunity to really kind of hone in on some of those opportunities for those chances. A quick second as this finalizes and stuff. Look at this, the recap and a quick quiz. My gosh, how crazy is that? You can hand out a worksheet suggestion on that. You could ask them, can you create a worksheet where they would draw and label the water cycle? You can do all those different things. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I see there's some information in the chat, right? Okay. My question to you is, how many people would find this useful? How many people not only would find it useful, how many people sees themselves using it right now, right away, maybe even this afternoon? 100% Itzel, right? How many people are like, I still don't trust it. I'm still not there. Yeah. Lisa, you want to tell us what you mean by that? What does that mean? Starting.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I really like to use ChatGPT to kind of give myself a kickstart if I'm thinking about something or trying to come up with some ideas on something. Um, I do a lot of writing for my job, so sometimes I'm just stuck and can't get the starting point, and I pop into ChatGPT some of the things I want to think about or talk about, and it just kind of kickstarts my own creative process then. So that's just an easy way to like help get you out of that block to get ideas. But also sometimes if I have to draft a longer email, I'll pop in what I want to say and it'll pop something out and I'll say, yeah, I really like that format. Now I'm going to make it sound like me. But that's just a great starting point.
Yeah. I've used it personally to be like, you'll have an employees that'll say like, hey, can you write me a letter of recommendation? I'm applying to grad school or I'm trying to do something like that. Honestly, I'm horrible at those things, right? It's hard to make time to do that. So it's really, I will block 30 minutes out and say, hey, write a recommendation letter for grad school for an employee, use it, and then go back in and take out like half of it and write like personal, but it probably is going to start out really, really well, right? It's really going to connect some dots and see some really nice superlative, right, things.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else do you wanted to try today? Anybody have anything that's like, oh gosh, I wish you could do this for me? Again, we're not experts on this, right?
Yeah.
We just use it. We use it in unique and um, opportune ways that really can just help save some time. I want to hit a little bit of the few no's, and that is, do not use it to publish stuff, right? Like, don't use Chat GPT or AI to write your post on LinkedIn or to write a book that you want to publish. Like, that is some questionable things about copyright, and like it also just is disingenuous, right? Like, words need to come. If I saw someone, and we've certainly seen one or two, right? Someone posts a long post on a social media platform and they use words like tapestry that they would never use. It's very obvious that they didn't write that, and it kind of finds yourself disconnecting from some of those things, right? So just make sure that it comes from you. Tapestry gets me every time too. Like, and I don't know what it is. Maybe because I love Carole King, and maybe that's why I like tends to use Tapestry quite a lot when it writes stuff for me. So, but those are definitely some no's that you're not really like. It's meant to be for internal use, right? Use it all the time you want for internal things, but you're going to have to adjust it every single time to make it personal, and you're going to have to make sure that it doesn't tapestry yourself out. What other things do you want to? We only have like probably just a couple more minutes. We mean for these to be short 30-minute sessions. We did record this, so we'll post this. We'll post a link to the video from the Museum of Science too. So if you wanted to watch that or show it to staff members, I think it's a great, it was very detailed in that video, but for 4 minutes, it really kind of explained a lot of stuff I was unaware of, like how things were and how it can be used. So writing job descriptions, that's right. Needs lists, job descriptions, any of those things that honestly are just tedious, I would hands down use it to do that. Are you saying you want me to do that right now? Is that what you're saying, Billy? I can try it right now. What are we going to write a needs or a job description?
I have used it for that, just to get titles. And I also went in once South Dakota was changing their licensing guidelines. And just for fun, I said licensing of before and after school program in South Dakota. And it was spot on with the new stuff.
Wow. Wow, it's using the Boys and Girls Club of the Sioux Empire. That's very interesting.
It knows where you're sitting.
Right. So it pulled from my past, because I copied and pasted that little bio paragraph that read into all these different things. And now it's going to write all the different things. So you can take this, you can copy and paste it into a Google Doc, and then you can edit it however you need to do it, right? Have HR start looking at it and be like, hey, I know we're talking about hiring this new position. Why don't you kind of look at why don't you look at all the things that need to be in it for an HR perspective and see what needs to be taken out and what needs to be added in. I think it's a great starting point, right? Anyone else have anything? We're not going to keep people online. We're here to be in and out. So
I also have kind of thought about fun ways to use it with kids. And I obviously am not kid facing every day at this point, but I'm thinking of things that I haven't tried. Like, if you have a theme for the week, can you come up with jokes that kids would enjoy? And you could let kids perform those jokes and let them kind of play with it too. I was at something recently, and it was a group thing. It was a group of adults, but somebody was having a hard time defining what it was that we were doing. And they copied and pasted the thing from the website of the event that we were at, put it into Chat GPT and said, explain this to me as if I were a 5-year-old. And it was hilarious what it came out with. But what it did was reword it, and we all got a chuckle out of it, and it gave us a different perspective on what we were trying to do. But I think that these kind of programs too, if you can think of them in different ways in how you can involve kids, I think that kids would really get a kick out of using these different kinds of tools to do some planning and do some fun stuff. They could write a whole play. They could help write a skit or something to act out in after school. And it helps start their creative process the same way that we use it to start ours.
Exactly. Great point. Icebreakers.
Yeah, icebreaker questions is a great one too. Mm-hmm.
Icebreaker questions, yes. Let's all own the fact that we probably don't necessarily love the icebreaker activities. We do questions, but they're always great. Or a great way to end session if you're doing a recap, like with your kids, right? If you're your youth, and you bring them in, the best thing to do is like, this is what we talked about today, and to have some sort of icebreaker question. So, all right. Ito, did you have something you want to say? Yes.
I have sometimes when I need to do something new that I don't know about. For example, when I started this job, I was like told you're gonna run an unconference at the state leads meeting, and I was like, great, what is an unconference? I've never seen this in my life. And so I asked GPT how to run an unconference. What is it, like tips and tricks? And it was helpful to kind of get my like an easy frame to how to do it. I asked how like to do this, a smart agenda or this type of that, like just things that you're not very familiar with. And like if you go to Google, yes, you can find these answers as well. But like I think Chat GPT does a good job of like giving you a nice kind of outline. of things.
You can also just copy and paste notes. So if you just taken like typed notes during a meeting, you can copy and paste it and tell it to summarize them, and it will with bullet points. How nice is that, right? Like it's the assistant we always wanted.
Yeah, like if you have a like feedback from a conference or something and you want to like pull themes, like it could help you do that, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, you can dump in all those comments and say like pull top themes or top comments, right? Consistent comments. There's different ways to word it, but you can word it for all those. So Billy and Shelly, be thinking of that as you're getting ready for conference next month. Save yourself some time. Awesome. Well, if we've got nothing else, it is 2:01 and we promised you 30 minutes. So we will get these posted probably by the end of the week, if not, maybe even by the end of the day. Thank you all so much for coming and participating, and hope you learned just a little bit of something today. So have a great day.